be signal would hold on real good. But here lately it's kind of iffy. So people are driving real fast right now. I'm doing 51. They're sitting here all passing, going fast. I came out here through the back roads. It takes longer to get to here where I went to Kerman, and the Walmart, I said, well, since I'm all the way up here, might as well go to the Walmart. The Walmart, man, that place is, you know how they usually have, well, I don't know if you know this or not, but in Walmarts they have I forget what it's called. It's some kind of generator, and it generates this random noise. It's kind of like a hiss. You can hardly hear it, but it cancels out all the noise. So somebody can be standing, 12 feet away from you and try talking to you, and you won't hear them because they've got that noise canceller in there. I don't know if you know that or not, but apparently they didn't have it turned on in this store, and the ambience in the store was just, you could feel it. You could feel the vibes in there. Something, it's not, the management or something. Like I was telling you, you get all one race, all one ethnicity, and it's just no bueno. And apparently right there, you have no racial diversity. And these dudes were just being freaking obnoxious and loud. I mean, you could hear them like 7 aisles down. They were like, they were like, that was their soapbox, right? Where they could be heard. And all the other employees were listening to what they were saying because you can hear them 7 aisles down. They don't do that in other Walmarts. So, I took the survey and it said, would you recommend anybody come here? And hell no. Put 1 in between 1 and 10. That place needs a checkup from the neck up. So let me pull over here to the side so that I can put this on my the gizmo that I made. So I came all the way up here. I got some stuff that I need, but it turns out that basically, I did get all these, and it's important. It's important that these get mailed off. I grabbed some stuff that I had forgot in the truck. I had left it there. And so let me, but I also see a lot of onions. They're harvesting the onions. Let me see if I can turn this damn thing around. Yeah, I see a lot of onions being harvested. So I'm on my way back home. And last time, well, I was telling you, I guess it is a good idea to have it on mirror, because that way I can see. I'm not at home where I can have the monitor on. I'm going to go ahead and do it in mirror mode, which I do not like mirror mode. But last time I was telling you how a lot of these people go on here and they make videos and they have absolutely zero to talk about. And well, they've been dumbed down. And I was saying how some people, they'll just come up there and they'll just start eating. They have nothing to say, nothing to share. They're just sitting there eating. And nothing, to share, like, this is a different culture or whatever. They just sit there and eat like a bowl of tricks cereal. And so one time I saw this lady, and she was eating these, I didn't know what it was, but it looked good. And so I guess it turns out what it was, because she was dipping it in like hot butter sauce or whatever. I guess what it is tiger prawns. So I don't know if they were called jumbo shrimp last time I bought them, but I was looking for some, and the price was over $11. And so I had to do a double take. And so I went over and I grabbed this other pack, and the shrimps were about that big, and they were only $5. But the tiger prawns, they're a complete different animal. They don't taste like the shrimp. They're completely different. So I had to do a double take, and so I said, well, why the hell should I get the shrimp? You know how they have like ammonia on them, so when you eat them, kind of like your teeth kind of squeak. But so I put those back, and I grabbed the tiger prawns. They've got like 3 different brands in there now, and they have some from Argentina too. They were called Argentine. So I just grabbed, I don't know which one, was it, but this one, the one I got, it's deveined with the tail on. So it's deveined and shelled, but it's got the tail on it. And they're huge, and they're like $11. And they had like 1, 2, or 3 different brands of these, but I got some. So hopefully they'll stay cold, because I've got some milk back there too. I didn't buy no ice, but it should only take about like another 45 minutes to get back home. But I was thinking, somebody's out there picking a whole bunch of onions. They got twisted the onions, and there's a whole bunch of extra ones left over. But I was thinking about Kevin Trudeau, and how so many people, well, a lot of people read his book. I told you that I didn't quite agree with one of his books. It was called The Weight Loss Cure That Worked. The Weight Loss Cure That Works, or something like that. It's by a Dr. Simeons. He's from Europe. He's Dr. Simeons, and you use some kind of human growth hormone. Whoa! That's weird. But I had been saying, I wonder if this video's coming out clear, because I don't know about the signal out here. I was saying that, he started saying, thank you, Jesus, right? Like, making fun of it or something. Making fun of the TV evangelists, who, yes, the TV evangelists are bogus. And that one with, what's her name? Paula White, at one time when she was doing that one thing. There was this one lady, and she made a video of it. She imitated it. Man, it was crack up. I wish I could find that video again. I'd share it. But anyhow, so he done that stuff, and then he was like kind of like being a Howard Stern, right? He was, I guess he had these ideas, and he was going to be the next, radio talk show host. He was doing it on YouTube. And, well, to me it seemed like he was copying or being like Howard Stern, trying to be like Howard Stern. You know how Howard Stern is kind of rude, so he was talking about the Mexicans, not the ones who are here legally, but the ones who come in here illegally. I don't know if it was specifically Mexicans or immigrants in general. Maybe that's why he took down those videos. But so, he wasn't winning lots of friends and influencing people. Like one of the books that he recommends, it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People, by who was that who wrote that? I forget. But there was a lot of people who were mad, and I guess the people who bought the book, The Weight Loss Cure, is supposed to be the best weight loss cure in the world, the only one that works. Uses HSG stuff. So I guess a lot of them were disappointed, right? Probably it didn't work, or I don't know how many people that it did work. I don't know how many people tried it, but it sold a lot of copies. Now his other book, the book that I do promote, that book sold 25 million copies, which means he was a multi-millionaire, because each book sells for what? 20, 30 bucks. And so 20, 30 times a million, no, times 25 million. Okay, so he had mucho dineros. He has gold bars, right? You know how much a gold bar costs? Look it up online. And so I guess, a lot of people were upset with him because they couldn't lose weight. It didn't work for them. So they probably held him, responsible, considered him responsible for disappointing them so much. And so you also had these immigrants, I think it was the Mexicans, the ones that were coming in illegal. And because they were all over Chicago, right? They're all over Chicago, all over Arkansas, all over California. And so he was saying, on his radio talk show, he was saying all this stuff. And so I guess a lot of them didn't like him because he's very popular, right? He was like, he used to be the infomercial king. And so also he had said that thing about the MSG, right? He said something about MSG, and this is a food enhancer. If you start eating something with MSG in it, you can't stop eating it. It brings out the flavor. It enhances the flavor more than, like salt does. And so he talked about MSG. And me, I used to work in a Chinese restaurant. We used to use MSG. I used to see the chef, he'd put MSG in the food. It was the best Chinese food ever. So he said, well, the MSG is not good. It does this, it does that. It's what do you call that? It's the opposite of an antioxidant. It does the opposite of what an antioxidant does, or it's supposed to. And well, I don't know what Chinese food restaurants he ate at there in Chicago, Willowbrook, Chicago, but I don't know. Maybe somebody said something to him that he didn't like, and that's why he, touched down on it so much. I mean, you don't know. I'm just hypothetical, right? But so I guess the Chinese restaurants, the Chinese community is one of the most tightly knit, if not the most tightly knit communities that there is. And so I guess, word got out that, people are starting to ask, if we're using MSG. So next thing you know, you see a Chinese restaurant, no MSG. We don't use MSG in our cooking. For all the health nuts, all vegans and all this stuff. And they'll eat anything as long as it says, vegan or whatever. Doesn't matter if it tastes bad, they'll eat it. But nobody told them to do that. Nobody told them to take the MSG out of the Chinese food. Yet every last Chinese food restaurant across the whole United States, people don't talk about this, right? Every last one of them, the MSG out. They stopped using MSG. Do you think that's why Chinese food doesn't taste like it used to? This Chinese food that they make now there's no comparison to original Cantonese Chinese food, which used MSG. And so apparently they didn't like that at all, even though nobody told them to take it out. Even though nobody told them to take it out. It's in your food when you go buy your snacks. It's in your snack food. It's an enhancer. That's why when you start eating it, you can't stop eating it, because it's got that flavor enhancer in it. And so I guess they got pissed off, right? Because they must have lost a lot of money. People weren't scarfing down like they used to. And so there was another group of people who didn't like him. And then he said, all these congressmen, this is the one that really, I think. He said, all these congressmen, they're all a bunch of, basically, they're all a bunch of freaking bozos, which I agree, right? When he said that, and he said, I'm thinking about running for a congressional seat or something, and I'm going to get in there and I'm going to tell him, because nobody else has the balls to say it. Nobody in Congress has the balls to say what's really going on, which I agree. And as soon as he said that, he was in jail. Okay? So I guess the culmination of it, all these different people, like that one song, there's a lot of bad things that they're wishing on me, right? That's what it is. And, with the weight loss, he was also talking about how people in the United States are big and fat, which is true. You look at other countries, go on YouTube, look at Asia, look at China, Korea. Look at the people walking around there making live streams. It's not like it is over here. There are so many overweight people here in the United States because of what they're putting in the food. Okay? It's used to make more of on the animals to make them produce more, gets into the human system and makes them just what they want the animal to be. And that's why our food is considered hazardous, toxic waste in other countries. They don't want none of it. That's why they're not buying none of it. And because you have to label it hazardous, toxic waste. Who's going to buy food that is labeled hazardous, toxic waste? And so I guess a lot of the overweight people, which it's a lot in the United States, they didn't like him because he would come out and say, right? And I'm thinking that must be it. In other countries you could, probably say some stuff, but it's got to be that, so I know there's a channel in Asia that's making these YouTube live streams. I forget what the name of it is. I'm subscribed to it. You can go to that channel and look at the people. Once in a blue moon, you'll see, an overweight person. But like 80% of the crowd is not. And that's why I was saying I should have stopped by the Asian store. But Fresno was like 15 miles down. I was going to get this one product to present it so that you can see what they're doing to the food supply. And so now that you can, I don't know if you can see out here, I'm looking at, damn, how long has it been turned off? Okay, so I said all that stuff probably for nothing. I'll check it later. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this live stream. Yeah, I was kind of in the sun, so I couldn't see that the video was off. I don't know how long the video's been turned off. But I've also got this stuff in the ice chest that I'm trying to get home before it defrosts. So I can't really pull over to read the comments. I see there's a lot of people leaving bad comments. It's probably because I've, mentioned those things that just, we live in a place where got a lot of bad people. So I'll try monitoring. I'll try watching this video when I get home. I want to kind of read the comments. Messages held for review. And the phone starts getting so hot. Hot as a hyena. I should have just bought some ice, but Walmart only sells the big, huge, giant bags of ice. Like other stores, I could get the bag of ice for, I think, $2. They're still doing tomatoes? That's freaking crazy. They had way, way more tomatoes than I thought. Okay. So let me read this real quick. Okay, it says the message is held for review, but it doesn't show me who. No, it's only 2 people. Wow. Gotta block this one for sure. There, blocked forever. Okay. Who's this one? This must be one of those really ugly mofos. Okay, Nirvana said hi. All right. So we'll talk to y'all later.